It is now day 5 of ownership of the 1988 LeSharo, and so far it's been great. We've gone through all the systems, everything works. A couple of little minor things. One of the previous owners put a solar panel up on top, just a small one, and there is a solar controller, but it doesn't seem to be charging the house battery. So I'm gonna look into that. I was able to plug it in at the shop that I'm at. So I'm at my friend's shop. I'll plug it in, I'll leave it overnight, see if it charges that battery up fully, see if that battery does actually hold a charge. Otherwise, it's gonna have to mean a replacement battery. But for now, here we are, and I'm going to start stripping out the interior. So probably get some time-lapse footage of that, and hopefully things go as well as I think. Let's get to it. Okay, lesson learned. I left, this was the last screw I left in, and it cracked that. Not too bad, but it did crack it. So in the future, I need to leave one of these in because they're on. This is metal. Well, here it is, day 2. You'll have to excuse some of this video because, as you can see, there are lines that are floating down. I'm recording this at 24 frames per second, and there are lines that you can see are being caused by this new light that I got from Harbor Freight, which I assume is at 60 hertz. It's an LED, so I'm not sure exactly what it is, but it is plugged in at the moment. Maybe if I unplugged it, I have no, whatever. We're gonna deal with the lines for now, so sorry if they're annoying. Anyway, yesterday I did a pretty good job. I got the second seats out. I got all the carpet out, all that floor came out, the shower pan. You can see here that there's a little bit of surface rust that was under the shower. There was absolutely nothing between that fiberglass shower pan and the sheet metal, which is just the outside of the RV. So I could imagine there was probably condensation would get in there. If there wasn't any water getting in there from the shower, at least condensation would maybe be forming in there. So I'm gonna clean this rust up, and I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna paint all of this. That shower pan needs to go back where it was, so I can't really add anything. Maybe I can find some really thin piece of rubber or latex or silicone or something like that to maybe give some sort of an insulation between that shower pan and the floor to keep any further condensation from getting in there, because I don't want this to rust away. Now today I'm going to work on the back. So I'm going to try to take these back seats out. I don't want to take the bases for the seats out, and I'm not going to take the carpet out from underneath the seat bases because, I mean, on the one side there's a water tank and a water pump. On the other side there's other stuff, mechanical things. So, but I'm going to try to get the seats out so I can get back to the wallpaper, fix any sort of water damage that's below the windows. And then hopefully these seats will come out. They don't look easy, but hopefully they will come out, and I'll have better access to all that stuff to fix that stuff up. And I'm gonna replace these lights right now. They work fine, but I ordered all LED lights. They're perfectly good lights. They're not fancy, but they work fine. So I'm gonna put some LEDs in there and get to work. They're too long. It's gonna stick out. So that's not gonna work. That much longer, so this is not gonna work. Have to find something else. This seat belt right here actually goes between this pin, and then there's another one right behind it, and the belt goes right in between. There's about 3/4 of an inch at most, maybe, between these two pins. So I'm sure they probably did that for safety to keep this seat belt in this position, but then it goes all the way back and it attaches on the wall back there. Now you can see it better. This belt just goes right in there, right in between there. Okay, let's see if I can get this thing out of here. Kind of a mess back here. Definitely some cleaning. So we've got our water tank. This is a shield. The propane tank is in there. Wheel well. It's a little bit, this little storage unit comes through, so it actually is a good spot for an umbrella. You can see the previous owners put in some mouse traps just in case. We've got our freshwater pump, and this is a propane sensor. I'm going to replace that with a propane and carbon monoxide detector, and then yeah, just clean this all up back here. This, as you can see, had some water damage under the window. Feels like the wood is good. This is really pretty hidden behind the seats anyway, except when you're sleeping. So I wanted to make it look nice, but I can't go too crazy with it either. I'm gonna rip some of that wallpaper down, see what we have behind there, and then I'm not sure what floor we're putting in here yet, but I know it's not going to be carpet. So I'm not going to mess with the little bit of carpet that's still underneath these wood sides here, because that could create a whole can of worms in terms of lining everything up height-wise to function properly with the benches going down into the bed. So I don't want to get involved with that. I'm just going to cut along the wood and leave that carpet underneath there. Well, I accomplished something. In order to replace this properly, I really should take this window out, which I don't think should be too big of a deal. I've taken windows out on my boat before. That was a massive deal. I hated it. But hopefully this isn't built the same way that my boat is. Let's check out the other side. I've shown in past tours how there's some rubber around there on the exterior that has shrunken, so the water could potentially get in, but I don't think that that's getting all the way in here. So I think what's going to happen is both of these windows are going to come out, and new wood here, new wood on that side, reseal them. Well, today's the day the ceiling comes down. Not all of it. The back, I think, is okay. There are 3 strips that run along. So my thought is to replace these 3, and then hopefully I can either find the match so that we match the back one, or if we can't find anything close, hopefully it'll get painted and it'll look similar. I don't know. I mean, I'd like that all to match, so we'll see when we get into it. And if I pull this material off, you can see there's actually like seeds in here. I don't know, there must have been a pretty big hole. I don't know what the hell these seeds are. They're not poops, they're definitely seeds of some sort. So if I undo all these screws and then start pulling, I should be able to pull the whole thing down. At least that's the theory. I've also talked to Winnebago. They were no help, and I talked to my local Winnebago dealer. They're having issues because they just went through. Anyway, I want to replace this piece here of this vinyl. So once I can get someone from Winnebago that can help me, I will replace that. The rest of it around here looks decent. It's not perfect, but it's decent. I'd rather not deal with it, but this one just looks crappy, especially above the door here. So wish me luck. Day 4 of renovation. As you can see, the ceiling above me looks terrible, but it's actually not in that bad a shape. This area right here was actually wet when I opened it up yesterday. I know in 2019, a dealer sealed the roof up. I'm not sure if that's been wet since 2019 and just wasn't able to dry because there was no air. But I pulled this vinyl, the white vinyl, off, and just had a fan circulating things around in here overnight last night, and that really has dried up pretty well. So it's, other than this little section right here, it's actually not in that bad a condition. Over here, there was some water, but it didn't destroy any of the wood. It just stained it. And it was totally dry when I opened that up. So I have a plan, and my plan is to cut this section out and then refoam it and put some board up there, and hopefully all of that will just kind of stay in place. And then I have an idea for a new ceiling to cover everything, make it look really nice. I believe that this is going to solve the issue. Now, I still need to make sure that there's no water getting in. So I will go up on the roof and I will check all of that out before we get it out of the shop here. But pretty happy that it is just a small area. It's not the entire ceiling that needs to be replaced. And here's the result. So I have nice even lines kind of all around here. Still have to figure out what I'm going to do here, but I think I have a plan. Nice even lines all the way around. Cleaned off the foam from the ceiling as best I can, and I think we're going to be able to glue a new piece of foam up here. I'm going to let this dry. There's a little bit, looks like a little bit of moisture right here. I don't really feel it, but yeah, it's maybe a little moist, but it's in really good shape. So why mess with it? Now, here's a pro tip. So the way that I got all this out was I took my chisel, and if you could see, there's a flat edge and a beveled edge. So I took the beveled edge so that the beveled edge would be flat against the ceiling, hammer the back of the chisel, and scraped it all off. However, when I got to this point here, I was getting a little too aggressive with my angle, and now we can see the sunshine. Well, we could if we were outside. You can also see where the screws come in for the fan body on the outside, or I guess that would be the cover. And I will figure out a good way, because I want to make sure that these hold into the foam as well, not just the aluminum. So anyway, we have a nice little hole of foam, and I'm going to get more foam, and I'm going to glue that foam up to that point right there, and hopefully get to a pretty flush surface here. And then, as I said, we're gonna cover everything over.